Alright, hello there ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's lesson, which will be reviewing percentage expressions. Specifically, within percentage expressions, we are going to be reviewing tips/gratuity today. And in case you did not know, a tip or gratuity, they're both the same thing, they're synonyms, is the extra money you give to a waiter or waitress after you eat out. So you have the money that you're going to pay the restaurant, right? And then there's a little bit extra money that you pay the waiter for their services. So the waiter's amount is a little bit extra that you pay on the side. All right, going to give you a few seconds to write that down if you don't have it down already. All right, and now let's move on to a sample question. So let's imagine that I tell you, if you give a waiter 15% tip on a bill of N, how much money did you give them? Well, okay, let's think about this. Your tip is 15% of N, yeah? Because your bill is N. How much money does that equal? Well, you can't find out how much money it is right now, but you can go ahead and write 15% of N as an expression. So, first of all, I need to convert my 15% to a decimal. So 15%, to move from percent to decimal, remember, alphabetical order, P comes after D. To move from percent to decimal, you are moving to the left. You take your decimal point and you move it 2 spaces to the left. That's 0.15. So 15% as a decimal would be 0.15. And then of N just means times N. That's it. You're done. 15% of N is 0.15 times N, or 0.15 N. That's all you have to write. You don't have to write the multiplication sign. When a variable and a number are touching each other, they're next to each other without any sign in between them, that's multiplication, always. So let's go ahead and let's do another example. Okay, perfect. Okay, so in this case, let's say that you give a waiter 20% tip on a bill of X. How much money did you give them? Well, you can't find out exactly how much money, but you can write an expression to try and make sense of this mathematically. It's a 20% tip of a bill of X, right? Once again, to go from percentage to decimal, to go from P to D in the alphabet, you're moving to the left. So you're going to go and take your decimal point, and you're going to move it 2 spaces to the left. 0.20, 0.20. That's what this is as a decimal. So 0.20 times X, and you don't need to write the times. You can just write 0.20 X. That's it. You're done. Let's do another example. Okay, let's say in this case, okay, let's erase here. Let's say in this case, you want to find out if you give a waiter 18% tip on a bill of Y, how much money did you spend in total? Well, this is different. You're not just looking for an 18% tip of Y. You're looking for the 18% tip of Y plus the Y that you spent originally. You're asking how much you spend in total, right? Remember, you pay money to the restaurant and you also pay money to the waiter. Until now, you've been finding out how much money you pay to the waiter. No. In this case, you want to find out how much money you paid in total to the restaurant and to the waiter. So let's go ahead and work this out. You paid the restaurant Y, yeah? And then you went ahead and you paid the waiter 18% of Y. Now you want to find out your total, so you're obviously going to add these two. You have Y plus 18% of Y. But that's not good enough. I want to make that a expression, just like the others. Well, 18%, as I mentioned to you before, to go from percent to decimal, P to D in the alphabet, you move to the left. So you take your decimal point on 18 and you move it 2 spaces to the left. That's going to be 0.18, 0.18. So 0.18 times y. You don't need to write the times. You can just write 0.18y. Yeah? Okay. So you have y plus 0.18y. This is your answer. This is an acceptable answer. Okay, so now let's move on to a second example. Let's say I tell you that if you give a 25% gratuity on a bill of F, how much money did you spend in total? Okay, now if you remember in the last one, what we did is y plus 0.18y, right? Here, we could do that. We could say, all right, the original bill is F plus this person gave the waiter 0.25 of F, right? We could do that. It kind of makes sense. It's the same thing. Let's try another way of working it out, though. When you went to the restaurant, you paid F dollars for your food. That is 100% of the food that's 100% of the cost, right? Now on top of that, you added, so that's 100% of F that you paid. On top of that, you added 25% of F that you gave the waiter, right? Well, hold on, let's just add these together. Simple math. 100 plus 25 is 125% of F. Huh. Well, hold on. 125% of F, if I'm converting a percentage to a decimal, I am moving left to right, so that's 125%. Remember, I take the decimal point, but I only move it 2 spaces to the left. So that becomes 1.25. Okay, so 125% of F is 1.25 F. Boom. That right there, that's an answer, and it works. So to review for this, you could have done, all right, F, the original, plus 25% of F. You could have converted that to F plus 0.25 times F. This is a possible answer. Or you could have just gone ahead and done, okay, 100% of F plus 25% of F equals 125% of F, and then converted that 125% to a decimal and multiplied it times F. Both of these answers are correct. You can choose whichever one you prefer. Here as well, if you give a waiter 18% of a tip on a bill of Y, how much did you spend in total? Okay, remember, we solved this last example by saying, well, y plus 18% of y, that's 0.18 times y, is just y plus 0.18. You have another way. You can also say 100% of y, which is what you paid the restaurant, plus 18% of y, which is what you paid the waiter, equals 118% of y. Now let's go ahead and go from percent to decimal, right to left. So I take 118% and I move the decimal point 2 spaces to the left, 1.18. So that's going to be 1.18 times y. Either one of these answers, y plus 0.18y or 1.18 times y, both of them could be correct. So there you have it. This is how to find a percentage expression for tip or gratuity.